Coming up on CBC Vancouver News.
I smelled the fire within probably 1 or 2 minutes after it probably started.
But it was blowing right towards our house, so it made it very difficult to see.
Hundreds of people in West Kelowna forced from their homes as a wildfire burns nearby. Plus,
much of the province is trending towards warm and dry conditions in the weeks to come.
Bracing for an intense wildfire season exacerbated by tinder dry conditions.
But I was just a little shocked they didn't close it out in the facility.
12 kids are recovering after being injured at Cultus Lake Water Park. Now officials are trying to piece together what happened.
This is CBC Vancouver News.
Hello, I'm Janella Hamilton. Thanks for joining us. A wildfire burning in West Kelowna is now being held. The blaze prompted tactical evacuations of hundreds of homes near Callamore Regional Park. The local fire chief says the flames spread quickly and some homes were saved by mere inches. Jonna Bailon has more.
Firefighters out to battle a wildfire that sparked Tuesday morning, threatening dozens of homes in West Kelowna. For some evacuees, the winds weren't a good sign. These residents no stranger to wildfires.
I could see the smoke, and I knew it wasn't a very good day just because of the wind conditions right now. And probably within 3 minutes after that, I heard the fire trucks there coming down.
Myself and all the neighbors are worried about, once those embers start flying, they can go in a long direction.
BC Wildfire Service says the fire began near Callamore Regional Park. It quickly spread toward nearby neighborhoods, Casa Loma and Lakeview Heights. It's a fire that came early, says West Kelowna's fire chief. He says he expects a long wildfire season ahead and is encouraging people to be prepared. A warning being echoed by the emergency liaison for Casa Loma.
Everybody has to be aware of these situations and that they can happen at any time. So they have to be prepared. And there's all sorts of documentation on Fire Smart BC, as well as 72-hour kits.
Gluska says his family still worries whether they have everything they need.
We've taken the things that we're going to need for the short term and the long term, and what are the important things that you left behind that it can't be replaced. I went around and took pictures of every single room, everything that we had.
A reception center has been set up for evacuees at West Bank Lions Hall. Jonna Bailon, CBC News, Vancouver.
That wildfire happening as the province provided an update on what to expect this summer. Officials are warning British Columbians to brace for an intense wildfire season. As John Hernandez reports, above average temperatures are expected to make conditions worse.
BC is drier than it was in 2017, 2018, and 2021. All of those were historic wildfire seasons. About 1 million hectares of the province were scorched in each of them.
The reality is that climate change is rewriting what we consider to be normal in British Columbia.
Provincial officials forecasted drought conditions and wildfire predictions for the summer just minutes before flames ignited in West Kelowna. The flames underscoring expectations of a busy 2026 wildfire season. Drought conditions have compounded through the spring, and the weather is only expected to get hotter.
Models are showing that much of the province is trending towards warm and dry conditions in the weeks to come.
Based on previous data, the BC Wildfire Service expects fire activity to peak through mid-July and August, with the most difficult fires happening throughout the central and southern interior and the south coast.
We're just turning the corner into lightning season, and so we're about to see a lot more fires originating from lightning sources going forward into the summer months.
The combination of dryness and a spark means wildfires can start in an instant and burn out of control in minutes. Officials remind all British Columbians to be prepared to pack up and leave in a moment's notice.
That means having a household emergency plan, preparing a grab-and-go bag for every member of your family, including pets.
As of Tuesday, there are about 14 active wildfires in the province. A glimpse of what could be in store for the hot and dry summer days ahead. John Hernandez, CBC News, Vancouver.
And Steve, I know you had mentioned that the fire danger is actually increasing in some areas of the province.
It certainly looks to be the case, Janella. We do see trending upwards right now, the fire danger rating, according to BC Wildfire Service. So we are coming off a bit of a heat wave from this past weekend, and those drier and hotter conditions really seem to have made the difference. We do see that increasing in places like Vancouver Island, even here on the south coast, in parts of the southern interior, as well as in northern parts of BC as well. If we take a look at this map behind me, what showers we did get today, really very scattered over the southern interior, very little accumulation. We did get a decent amount in Revelstoke and some lightning activity there, but no new fire starts at this time as a result of lightning strikes. Showers over the next day or two going to be very scattered, and as it returns on Friday, more of that covering the northern part of the province as well as central BC, but missing that southern part of BC, which is not great as we continue watching those two wildfires, one near Kamloops, which is out of control, and the one being held in West Kelowna. The wind direction might be a little bit of a difference maker. We'll get into that and the 5-day forecast coming up later in the show.
Thanks so much, Steve. We are learning more about the electrical incident at Cultus Lake Water Park that sent a dozen students to hospital with serious injuries. The popular park remains closed as investigators work to piece together what happened. As Benit Braich reports, all of the kids are recovering.
The water slides at Cultus Lake Water Park now temporarily shut off after 12 children were sent to hospital from an electrical incident. Parents, teachers, and students still trying to make sense of what happened.
I knew mine were okay because they didn't call. I was just a little shocked they didn't close it out in the facility.
This specifically seemed like such a freak accident.
The incident happened as a group of grade 6 and 7 students from Minnetonka Middle School lined up for the 0 to 60 raceway ride. The extent of their injuries is unclear.
The 12 individuals that went to hospital, they're doing well. At this time, the incident does not appear to be criminal in nature. However, all avenues are being investigated.
Police say the students are between the age of 12 and 13. Technical Safety BC has taken over the investigation. The park says the incident occurred at the bottom of the 0 to 60 water slide, where there's a steel frame tent structure with handrails.
There's a queuing area at the bottom of that ride with railing, and that when they made contact with there, that's where the incident occurred for a brief time.
The park has said it's something that has never happened before. This aquatic safety expert says the incident raises several key questions.
Where is your record of an electrical inspection? When was the last time you checked for grounding and bonding of the facility? That, in addition to that, we would check for maintenance records. You know, did you replace any pumps recently? Did you have any problems with any electrical outlets, things of that nature?
Park goers hoping whatever led to this serious incident is soon addressed.
I've probably been there 6 to 8 times with the group, and I've never had reason to believe that their policies and protocols and staffing was anything less than exemplary.
My kids come out actually every summer with our church youth group, and I've always felt safe.
We're determined to ensure that something like this does not happen within our facility again.
WorkSafe BC has issued a stop work order. The water park has provided no opening date and expects to be closed until and including June 22nd. Benit Braich, CBC News, Chilliwack.
The province has terminated its deal with the contractor meant to replace the aging George Massey Tunnel. They say the move will make room for more Canadian contractors and won't result in any delays. But some are skeptical. As Michelle Gassoub reports, critics say it's yet another blow for a project affecting hundreds of thousands of people.
It's another setback for the George Massey Tunnel replacement project. The province has split with the contractor meant to complete the work, saying instead the project will be divvied up.
Our new approach will break the work into several packages, allowing for more opportunities for bids from British Columbian and Canadian companies.
The province says after 2 years, it couldn't reach an agreement on commercial terms for final construction of the tunnel, which is set to have 8 lanes connecting Richmond and Delta. Farnworth insists the project is still on track.
We're not anticipating delay. This change will not delay, for example, the work that is already underway and is taking place this year, which is the pre-major construction work.
That promise has been met with skepticism.
anytime you stop a project and have to start over again, we know that's extremely time consuming. And of course, costs just keep going up.
The project involves building tunnel segments on dried land, barging them into the Fraser River, and submerging them into a delicate marine environment. Critics say there are few local contractors for the job.
This is a very complex project. There are very few firms that are qualified to bid. That's why the last process, which ended in 2024, had 3 bidders make it to the final round. All 3 of them were international bidders.
It's not the first NDP project to face setbacks. In April, the province cancelled contracts related to 5 long-term care facilities and the Burnaby Hospital expansion. Critics say switching gears yet again will keep commuters in the slow lane.
I was stuck in traffic with, 1,000 cars trying to get through the tunnel at 10:15 this morning.
Progress on the tunnel seemingly moving just as slowly as those trying to commute through it. Michelle Gassoub, CBC News, Vancouver.
In northeastern BC, local leaders are pushing back against the BC government's proposal for a 4th dam in the region. CBC spoke with residents about the so-called Site E back in May. At the time, they said they are against the high cost of building a dam and the loss of land, and their position hasn't changed.
Site E would just be madness. Site C was a poor location. Site E would be just more of the same or worse. It doesn't make any sense when there's so many cheaper alternatives on every level now with renewables and with batteries and what have you, advances in geothermal. We got to move on.
On Monday, Energy Minister Adrian Dix said the province is seriously re-examining a decades-old plan for a new hydroelectric dam on the Peace River. BC Hydro first studied Site E in the 1970s, but rejected the location, saying it would have a considerable effect on development in the area. It's a merger proposal that could see some major impacts. The province is thinking of combining 2 ministries. As Katie DeRosa reports, it could see employees who deal with disability payments and child welfare cases working together.
There are so many children and youth who do not come forward because they are scared or uncertain of if they will actually receive help.
Alex Turpin, a former youth in care, says it's about time the province starts thinking about ways to make it easier for vulnerable children and families to receive support.
I couldn't help but think about the moments where a more connected and coordinated system could have made a meaningful difference.
The province's child and youth well-being strategy is aimed at breaking down silos when it comes to child welfare, poverty reduction, disability services, and health. And the government is not ruling out the merger of the Ministry of Children and Family Development, which oversees the foster care system, and the Ministry of Social Development and Poverty Reduction, which handles disability assistance payments.
We've heard for far too long that families have to go to multiple different places for different services. We will be working with those experts on how we can deliver that more integrated coordination approach. That could mean potentially that our ministries come together. It could not.
The BC Conservative critic for child welfare says a merger could lead to more families falling through the cracks.
That creates some serious questions and some serious instability.
The overhaul comes nearly 2 years after the Don't Look Away report examined the system breakdown across multiple ministries that failed to prevent the torture and death of an 11-year-old Indigenous boy at the hands of relatives charged with caring for him. BC's Child and Youth Watchdog says this overhaul provides a chance to fix some of those missteps.
The vast majority of young people that are really struggling and families that are struggling are experiencing income, food, or housing insecurity and precarity.
Wickens says no changes will be made until frontline service providers can be consulted in the coming months. Katie DeRosa, CBC News, Victoria.
The FIFA World Cup is officially here, and it has the city buzzing. How are the vibes and what's been working well? We'll have more on that next. BC's Independent Investigations Office is looking into the death of a man who was in the custody of Vancouver police. The watchdog agency says the man was arrested around 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon for unspecified reasons and placed in a VPD jail cell. The next morning, staff found him unresponsive. He was declared dead at the scene. Former Headley singer Jacob Hogarth's bid for full parole this month was rejected, with the Parole Board of Canada instead granting a 6-month day parole at a halfway house. The board says Hogarth requires professional supervision. The day parole was granted with several conditions, including not being in the presence of girls under 18 without an adult. The 41-year-old is serving a 5-year sentence after he was found guilty in 2022 of sexual assault causing bodily harm. Team Canada is practicing in Vancouver ahead of their second match of the FIFA World Cup this Thursday against Qatar. The game will happen here at BC Place, and it's a game that will mean a lot in the standings.
We obviously want to start this game the best way possible, something that we couldn't do against Bosnia, but at the same time, we know that we have the weapons to win, but it's going to be a hard game, like all.
We know that if we're not at our best, we can lose to anybody, but we also know if we're at our best, that we can beat anybody. And that
Canada drew their first match 1-1 against Bosnia and Herzegovina, as did Switzerland and Qatar, meaning all teams in the group are so far tied in points. A win on Thursday would mean 3 points and a stronger chance to advance to the knockout stage. Star Alphonso Davies missed the last match because of an injury, and although he is practicing, he is unlikely to play this week. The first few days of the FIFA World Cup have gotten rave reviews for the energy on Vancouver's streets, but why is it working so well? Justin McElroy takes a look at all the public spaces full of people and what lessons the city can learn from it.
If you were on Granville Street this past weekend, or Hastings Park, or the Seawall, or the Shipyards, or Commercial Drive, or just any old bar, it was obvious. Vancouver's vibes were off the charts. The watch parties everywhere. The crowds joyous. SkyTrain ridership, the 4th busiest Saturday in the last 16 years. The concerns about cost and transparency are still there, but the Week 1 pictures are as good as the city could hope for. No, this isn't the busiest Vancouver streets have ever been. There was a little thing called the 2010 Olympics, and yes, this was only one weekend. But what can we learn from Vancouver public spaces being used so well right now that can help the city when there isn't a World Cup here?
This is really an opportunity for people to see something in real life and in action, and that gives people confidence that there's an appetite for it.
Vancouver Councillor Sarah Kirby-Young sees all the packed public spaces and says it's evidence for having more of these zones.
People really love cities that have great public spaces and great places to be. Montreal's doing a great job. You see Austin, you see San Diego, for example, that all really have, particularly in summertime, really great pedestrian destinations.
Green Party Councillor Pete Fry says that you need money and programming to make it work, and there are questions around how it would play in a rainy winter, but that a car-free Granville is obviously appealing.
I think that this is a good street because it has that sort of width of sidewalk and placemaking and attractions to draw heat on the street. So not every street's going to work as a completely car-free, but I think that we can successfully see that this does work.
But could it happen here? Last year, the City of Vancouver passed a long-term plan for the Granville Strip to be car-free, but said it could take up to 20 years after a lot of consultations and planning and incremental improvements, with the final decision to be made by future governments. Kirby-Young says that if foot traffic continues to be this good throughout the World Cup, though, it could accelerate the timeline.
I think there's a live conversation with downtown Vancouver about extending it this summer. I think that can inform possibly a longer Granville Street promenade next summer, and also the long-term planning.
The only certainty is that there will be a lot of good memories over the next 6 weeks. But memories are a lot different from legacies, and it's up to politicians in this city to bridge that gap after these games are over. Justin McElroy, CBC News, Vancouver.
A thunderstorm blowing through Revelstoke this afternoon, bringing rain to the mountain city. Here on the coast, the dry and warm weather continues. Steve has your full provincial forecast coming up. Major changes to bail and sentencing in this country are now law. Ottawa's aim to keep more repeat and violent offenders behind bars for longer. That's something many have been asking for. But as Ashley Burke explains, the move has its detractors too.
A new law to crack down on crimes that have Canadians worried.
Whether that's auto theft or home invasion, whether it's extortion, whether it is trafficking, or whether it is assault or sexual assault.
The law takes aim at those accused of repeated and violent crimes. It makes it harder for them to get bail and easier to spend more time behind bars for serious crimes.
This legislation sends a message that, hey, victims are important.
Police associations in all provinces and territories called for this. Demands grew after Ontario Provincial Police Officer Greg Pierce-Challa was killed in 2022 while responding to a vehicle in a ditch. He was fatally shot by a man out on bail.
The average person sees that a police officer could be murdered in those circumstances, then how's it safe for them? So I think that's caused that immediate visceral reaction.
The Conservatives didn't block the bill but say it doesn't go far enough.
None of these small steps have proven to work. We need wholesale bail reform.
It's political pandering to the fears of the public at its worst.
This defense lawyer calls the law unnecessary and says jails are already overcrowded.
Where are they planning on putting these people that are charged with offenses and have not been found guilty and are presumed innocent?
Ontario's premier says he plans to build more jails.
They keep throwing people in jail. That'd be great. Keeping these terrible people off the streets and terrorizing neighborhoods. It's getting really bad.
Right now, there aren't any national numbers that show how many people are committing crimes while out on bail. The government is now offering provinces and territories money to be able to provide that data so they can measure if the legislation is working. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Ottawa.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is in France for the G7 leaders meeting, where his conversation with Donald Trump about Canada-U.S. trade became a hot topic after it was caught on a hot mic. The CBC's David Cochran brings us more from the summit.
Yeah, isn't it funny? Even with everything that's happened, Prime Minister Mark Carney and President Donald Trump are still able to smile and chat during a friendly stroll at the G7 in France. In the peculiar language of summits, this is called the family photo. And like every family, this one has disagreements. Most of the frank talk is done discreetly or behind closed doors, but sometimes an unnoticed microphone can tell a story. This one caught the Prime Minister speaking to the President about a deal Canada cut with China that the U.S. does not like. Carney assures Trump that Canada's deal to let Chinese EVs into the country is just 3% of the total market, and that there's a hard import cap of 49,000 vehicles.
This shouldn't surprise anybody that the Prime Minister took this opportunity to discuss what is a well-known circumstance for a number of months.
Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc shrugged it off, saying the points the Prime Minister was making are widely known. He also revealed that he and his lead negotiator met with U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer.
Janice Charette and I had a long and we think constructive meeting with Ambassador Greer. It very much builds on the work we did with him in Washington on June 2nd.
At that meeting, the two sides worked through a list of 36 issues the U.S. had raised. Sources say in a trade briefing last week, LeBlanc told the premiers they had resolved 12 of them. He didn't offer any such clarity today.
We don't negotiate the details of these issues publicly. I have said that we continue to make progress. And the conversation today with Jamieson was an opportunity to build on exactly that.
LeBlanc says he will speak with Greer again next week, but offered no specific details of when or where. There is no one-on-one meeting scheduled between the President and the Prime Minister on the final day of this summit, and the Prime Minister's office won't say if the two leaders made any progress between themselves on trade. David Cochran, CBC News, near Evian, France.
The tentative deal between the U.S. and Iran to end the war is expected to be signed on Friday in Switzerland. Details of the agreement still haven't been made public, but Donald Trump has been touting its merits at the G7 meeting, even as Iran continues to push back. Katie Nicholson reports.
In between closed-door meetings with world leaders, U.S. President Donald Trump talked about his deal with Iran.
Here's what it says. Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. That's what it says. It won't have one to buy, to develop. They will not have a nuclear weapon.
Doubts, reportedly even inside the administration, how far Iran is willing to back off its nuclear program. Trump also insisted the deal's official signing will herald the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. Its months-long closure has choked the global supply of crude oil.
We're going to have it fully open by Friday.
And yet, there is consternation on Capitol Hill as lawmakers say they have yet to see the actual text of the deal. Trump says he likes the idea of sending it to Congress and that the terms of the deal struck Sunday will be public soon.
I'll probably have a press conference and read it to you word by word.
Even as negotiators convene to go over some of the technical points in the agreement, which will set the stage for more negotiations for peace between the U.S. and Iran, there are ongoing tensions between Israel and Iranian-backed Hezbollah in Lebanon, which could scuttle the deal. On Tuesday, Iran's top negotiator demanded Israeli forces pull out of Lebanon. Israel has previously refused to move its troops out of the country. This morning, Trump expressed frustration with Israel's approach in Lebanon.
Too many people are being killed. And you don't have to knock down an apartment house every time you're looking for somebody. Because there are a lot of people in those apartment houses. And they're not all Hezbollah, that I can tell you. And I suggested to Israel to let Syria take care of Hezbollah. Because to be honest with you, I think they do a better job of doing it.
The deal is expected to be signed at a ceremony on Friday in Switzerland, beginning a 60-day period for negotiators to tackle some of the most contentious issues, like the future of Iran's nuclear program. Despite that, Trump says he expects the next stage of the process will be easier. Katie Nicholson, CBC News, Washington.
After nearly 75 years, the NHL will no longer be broadcast on the CBC, ending Saturday's Hockey Night in Canada, which has been a mainstay for generations of Canadians. Caroline Bargu has more on what this means for hockey fans and their wallets.
For decades, Canadians have tuned in to Hockey Night in Canada Saturday nights on the CBC. It all began in 1952, the first hockey game ever televised in this country. That run is now over.
It's obviously the end of a significant era of NHL hockey on CBC.
In a joint statement, Rogers Sportsnet and CBC said after a successful 12-year partnership, the public broadcaster will no longer carry NHL broadcasts after the current season as it moves forward with a new sports programming strategy. The decision came down to money.
Both partners legitimately tried to get a deal done, and it just in the end, there was nothing that made sense.
Sportsnet took over the national broadcast rights in 2014, but CBC still aired games on Saturday nights, free to watch on the public broadcaster. Now Canadians will need to subscribe to Sportsnet. Rogers has a deal with the NHL for $11.2 billion.
The host of Hockey Night in Canada, George Strombolopoulos.
Former Hockey Night host George Strombolopoulos says the move turns a part of Canadian culture into another subscription.
I understand it's a business. Everybody understands it's a business, but you can only push it so far before you start to lose people. And I think this is a failure at the NHL level.
This change was predictable, says this hockey analyst.
Sports is big business. You know, live event television drives the marketplace, and that's where a lot of the revenues are.
On the streets of Vancouver, hockey fans are disappointed.
It's a shame when you can't watch your sport on basic cable.
When I was growing up, we had 5 channels, and we lived in the middle of the country, so Hockey Night in Canada, that was our only way to watch hockey.
Saturday night, always you turn on CBC, and you expect it to be there, right? So it is sad.
CBC says it will be launching new sports programming on Saturdays. Next season, if Canadians want to watch NHL hockey on TV, they'll have to pay for it. Caroline Bargu, CBC News, Vancouver.
We're now in day 5 of the largest FIFA World Cup tournament ever, with 48 nations playing across 16 host cities in 3 countries. But so far, not all of the matches have been selling out, including Canada's opening match last Friday in Toronto. Dale Manukduk has the story.
A history-making day last week to open the 2026 World Cup. Let's go, Canada! Thousands marched to the first men's match played on Canadian soil and witnessed the first World Cup goal scored by a Canadian on home turf. According to FIFA, 43,002 fans watched it all go down, which is 34 shy of Toronto Stadium's capacity. Many people opting for the communal experience of a watch party.
It's not unexpected with those prices. With the growing divide between the rich and the poor, it speaks volumes, doesn't it?
The Canada match wasn't an outlier. Several matches have failed to sell out. In the tournament's first 4 days, there were 12 matches played in 12 of the 16 venues. According to FIFA's own attendance and capacity numbers, those 12 venues have a combined capacity of 765,142 seats. The number of tickets scanned was 761,142, meaning exactly 4,000 tickets either weren't scanned or weren't sold. Of the dozen matches between Thursday and Sunday, 5 venues hit capacity, including Boston Stadium and BC Place in Vancouver.
I was keen to hear the attendance.
Vijay Settler is a marketing instructor at York University and is a member of the Voyagers who went to Canada's Friday match.
I think some fans have just taken a stand that they're not going to pay the prices that are in play, you know, whether it be on the primary market through FIFA or on the resale market through FIFA itself.
In a post to social media, FIFA writes in part, official attendance figures reflect the number of tickets scanned and spectators present within the stadium footprint. FIFA works closely with stadium authorities and ticketing teams to ensure all published figures are based on verified operational data. FIFA dropped face value tickets in waves and operates its own resale marketplace with dynamic pricing. Through those first 12 matches, they scanned 99.5% of all available tickets.
When you start seeing numbers like 90 or 88, then I think there's an issue. Then they're not really doing dynamic pricing, because dynamic pricing doesn't just say increase prices. It also says close to the day itself, when you are risking having empty sections, you reduce tickets.
As of Monday, hundreds of tickets remain available for Canada's second group stage fixture in Vancouver. Dale Manukduk, CBC News, Toronto.
Vancouver is just days away from hosting their first Team Canada match at the FIFA Men's World Cup. There is a limited number of tickets left for the upcoming games at BC Place, and ticket prices have seen quite a surge. According to ticketdata.com, the get-in price for Canada versus Qatar on Thursday has gone up by 48% over the past 2 weeks. Keith Pagello joins us now. Keith, before the tournament, prices seem to be coming down. What do you think is behind the rise?
Absolutely. Up until about 2 weeks before the tournament started, prices had been trending down for about the month leading up to that. And then as the tournament, as we headed into the final weeks before the tournament, things really started to pick up. And then certainly in the last week, now that games have started and we've seen a lot of great games, prices have almost doubled for a lot of matches. We've seen not a single match have a decline in price since the tournament started. So I think that's telling about how much demand there is, and I think World Cup fever is here.
You think it's just based in excitement?
I think there's a lot of excitement. I also think that a lot of people saw prices coming down and kind of thought that they would keep coming down, and a lot of people waited to purchase tickets, and then when you have such a large number of people that have yet to buy their tickets, and then all want to buy it this last minute, I think that that really helped to kind of cause this big surge.
Yeah, we just saw a graphic of the amount of seats that have been sold now versus at the beginning of the tournament. A lot of the host cities, of course, had empty seats at the beginning of the tournament. Now they're very limited. FIFA didn't seem like they were that panicked when the seats weren't selling. How do you expect the prices and the availability of tickets to progress throughout the tournament?
Absolutely. So I'll be honest, the prices have for, like I said, for so many matches have almost doubled over the past week. So perhaps now they might be as high as they can go. Maybe there's still a little more room, but I think prices have gotten so high that perhaps for some of these matches you could see, a little cooling down, not to their pre-tournament prices, but perhaps from the very, very high prices that they're at right now.
And so overall, Keith, when it comes to the ebbs and flows of tournaments like this, what should people really keep in mind when it comes to when to buy tickets and prices of tickets?
Sure. I think, the general sentiment usually is that, and this is true, is that more often than not, you have these marquee events and there's a lot of anticipation and excitement months out, and then prices do kind of come down as the tournament or the game approaches. But that's totally, not what we're seeing here. This is definitely surprising a lot of people in the ticketing world. A lot of people thought, maybe that prices wouldn't come down a ton, but that they would probably soften a bit as sellers tried to sell those tickets at the last minute. But that's totally not what we're seeing. Prices have really gone up a lot, and to find a deal is definitely hard at this point.
All right. FIFA World Cup fever has taken over. Keith, thank you so much for your expertise tonight. That is Keith Pagello from ticketdata.com.
Thanks so much.
It's a hopeful sign why some coral reefs are proving more resistant to climate change than initially thought. When we return. A new study is offering hope to the world's coral populations. Despite mass bleaching from warming ocean temperatures over the last several years, as Anand Ram explains, some reefs are proving to be far more resilient than previously thought.
Consider these hands used to fish in these waters, now helping build artificial homes to bring them back. These former fishermen know now how precious coral reefs are. Coral reefs are a refuge above all else for fish, and we have to protect them. And for good reason. The last few years have seen a ghostly white sickness in corals, a global bleaching event caused by extreme ocean heat.
Now, that's not always a death sentence for all corals.
Now, new research suggests there's resilience among some corals, populations able to avoid, resist, even recover from this heat.
Drawing on more than 45,000 coral surveys and decades of climate and ocean data, our research shows that there are 3 times more reefs that may be capable of surviving the climate crisis than previously thought.
That's good news for now, but another threat is already here.
U.S. forecasters say El Nino weather conditions have arrived.
A so-called Super El Nino is coming.
The possibility of a Super El Nino.
With a potentially record-breaking El Nino weather system building strength, warming the Pacific, there's nervousness this resilience won't last.
The corals that we're seeing right now are probably just recovering from what happened in 2023. You would think that the ones that survive through the heat once, they're going to be the ones that can survive again, but not when they just get hit over and over again like this.
And for communities that depend on reefs for tourism, food, and coastal protection, the new research offers a focus.
I think this really can help shape our priorities moving forward for the next 5 to 10 years, even as far as where we're going to invest our conservation dollars in reefs, where it's going to have the biggest bang for the buck.
But for the world's reefs, conservation work can only go so far. Experts say there's still a need to curb fossil fuel emissions, as oceans absorb 90% of the excess heat trapped in the atmosphere. Anand Ram, CBC News, Toronto.
Steve Jung is back with another look at our weather. Steve?
Janella, we're heading towards a stretch of drier and hotter weather here in BC. And as we look behind us here to the weather forecast of precipitation specifically, we're not getting very much in the next couple of days. Over Wednesday and Thursday, what rain we do see, what precipitation we do see, covering kind of the northern part of the province and through the northeast and that edge of southeastern BC, but coming in very scattered fashion. And as we see it return on Friday, more of that precipitation covering kind of the north and central parts of the province, but missing the south part of BC, which is not great as we watch fire danger trending upwards again here in BC. If we see on Vancouver Island, parts of the south coast as well as the southern interior, moderate to high fire danger, even extreme in some places here, as well as parts of the Cariboo and up north. That is a big difference from just a few days ago when it actually looked like it was trending downwards. So the heat wave we had this past weekend really seems to have made a difference there. Wind gusts is something that we're watching, especially for the southern interior right now. Earlier today, we saw winds of up to 60, 70 kilometers an hour as they were gusting. We won't see that for Wednesday, but we will see it change direction somewhat and blowing more towards the northeast, east, and southeast, which is away from people's properties. Currently on that, we're watching that Callamore Park fire, which is in West Kelowna, blowing southwest and west. That was actually heading towards people's property. This is now heading in the other direction. But one thing that we can say is that it looks like the rain is not going to be the difference maker for the fire conditions in the southern interior right now. If we see in Kelowna and in Kamloops, temperatures kind of in the low to mid-teens, but also a chance of showers in these two areas, but not a whole lot of accumulation, a millimeter or so, maybe slightly more. The rain is not going to be the difference maker as we continue monitoring the fire danger situation here in BC. Let's take a look at conditions for the south coast over the next couple of days. We'll see mix of sun and cloud in some areas here in the lower mainland and in the Fraser Valley, but that'll clear over the next day or so as we see clear skies over much of the south coast and warming temperatures as we head towards that drier and hotter weather that we've been talking about. Let's take a look at the 5-day forecast for Metro Vancouver right now. Mix of sun and cloud for Wednesday to get us through to the midweek point, and then clear skies all the way through to the weekend. We'll see temperatures holding for the most part steady in the low 20s, but again, very dry, very hot, not a whole lot of rain coming our way, Janella.
All right, but some nice temperatures for the weekend. Thanks so much, Steve.
My pleasure.
Coming up, the Gordie Howe Bridge construction not only spans the Detroit River, but also the lifetime of this young Ontario boy. And as far as he's concerned, it's high time it opened. That story next.
Hi, I'm Amy Bell, and this is your CBC Inbox.
CBC is the exclusive media partner of the Indian Summer Festival, running July 9th to 19th. This year's theme, Ragas for a Ruptured World, is a call to artistic expression and creative defiance. And CBC Home Pitch is your ultimate free pre-match destination. We've transformed the CBC Outdoor Plaza into the ultimate hub, featuring music, prizes, and global flavors. Full schedule at cbc.ca/homepitch.
With the opening of the Gordie Howe Bridge connecting Windsor to Detroit in limbo, it isn't just Canadian politicians and truckers feeling frustrated.
One 6-year-old Ontario boy has grown up watching the construction of the bridge with awe and anticipation. And as Jennifer LaGrassa reports, he's now adding his voice to the calls to get things going.
Open the bridge!
Lucas Laguerre and his grandparents Jeff and Sharon Marshall stop right here nearly every week to check in on the Gordie Howe Bridge.
All right, let's go down here. Seeing the black and white photo of the Ambassador Bridge of their grand opening, and I thought it was a piece of history, and why not be a part of our new Gordie Howe Bridge.
Their visits documented through photos.
As soon as he spotted the towers, he'd say, okay, let's go to the bridge. And that was how it started.
That was back in 2022 when Lucas was only 2 years old.
I've always liked construction and building things. With Lucas, it's a hobby that we do.
We thought Lucas would really enjoy coming and being a part of that, watching the bridge grow and watching him grow along with it.
And watch it grow they did, from the towers to the span.
He was just always excited to see the next stage progress.
To actually see the cranes and everything working on the bridge, he got really excited for, which was cool to see.
And eventually, he watched in awe as the bridge finally connected.
We saw the crane hold the last piece together. I like seeing stuff getting complete and built.
And they decided to have some fun.
And we put our hands under, pretending we were actually lifting, and we got pictures.
Years from now, he can look back on those pictures and just reflect on the time he spent with us and how we watch a piece of history grow together.
It helps keep memories going. That will always be there. And then he'll reflect back on that coming down here with us to see it.
How does it get inside?
Lucas's curiosity and love of the bridge eventually landing a behind-the-scenes visit where he learned all about.
All right, we were just having some technical difficulties there. Go ahead.
Well, thanks for being with us tonight on CBC Vancouver News. You can watch this newscast on our free CBC Gem app, as well as on YouTube and on our website at cbc.ca/BC.
We'll see you next time.